Are you afraid to eat bread, potatoes, or rice? Because every time you do, your blood sugar shoots up, your energy crashes, and your body feels like it's working against you? You are not alone. Millions of older adults silently wonder, have these foods become dangerous for me now? But the truth is, your body is not broken. It's just speaking a different language now. And if you learn to listen gently, you can eat the foods you love without fear, guilt, or blood sugar spikes. In this video, I will show you exactly how to enjoy carbs, yes, even white rice and toast, in a way that keeps your blood sugar calm and steady. Researchers show that using resistant starch and simple food pairings can reduce glucose spikes by up to 40%. The answer is not restriction, it's rhythm. So stay with me until the end, and I'll show you the gentle steps I gave to Harold, 80 years old, that changed everything. Before we continue, I would appreciate it if you like this video. It helps me keep sharing these healing truths about growing older with strength, peace, and positive energy. Now, you might be wondering, if bread, rice, and potatoes all turn into sugar, is there really a way to enjoy them without harm? The answer lies not in the food itself, but in how you prepare it. What if I told you that by simply changing the way you cook and cool your meals, you could transform those same carbs into something much gentler on your blood sugar? Let me show you how this quiet change in the kitchen can create a powerful shift in your body. Starting with your rice and potatoes. Tip number 1, cool your rice or potatoes after cooking. Most people think the only way to control blood sugar is by cutting carbs completely, but that's not always true. You see, when you cook foods like rice, potatoes, or even pasta, and then cool them down in the refrigerator overnight, something remarkable happens. The starch inside these foods begins to change shape. It becomes what scientists call resistant starch, a special kind of starch that resists digestion. Imagine regular starch like a row of unlocked doors. Your digestive system opens each one quickly, releasing glucose into your blood. But resistant starch is like a hallway of doors that are locked tight. Your body can't open them. The glucose stays trapped, so your blood sugar stays calm. And here's the twist. If you reheat these cooled carbs the next day, they still keep that resistant quality. In fact, they become even more powerful. The simple act of cooking, chilling, and reheating turns ordinary white rice into something closer to a blood sugar buffer. Researchers show that this process can reduce glucose spikes by up to 40% compared to eating freshly cooked carbs. And unlike fads or supplements, this is something you can do today, with the food already in your kitchen. Why does this matter more for older adults? Because after 60, our insulin sensitivity naturally declines. That means your body has a harder time managing sugar, even from healthy meals. Resistant starch acts like a gentle brake, slowing things down so your pancreas doesn't have to work so hard. Common signs your body is struggling with high carb loads include feeling sleepy after meals, gaining weight in the belly, or having to nap in the afternoon. But you don't need extreme diets to feel better, just small rituals that restore balance. Let me tell you about Harold, 80 years old. He loved mashed potatoes, but every time he ate them, he felt heavy and drowsy. I suggested something simple. Cook them ahead, chill overnight, and reheat with a little olive oil. Within 2 weeks, Harold said he felt clearer after lunch and no longer craved sweets in the evening. He didn't cut carbs, he transformed them. My personal opinion? I believe this is one of the most overlooked yet powerful tools for seniors managing blood sugar. It costs nothing, it fits into almost any diet, and it respects your love for comfort food. As a doctor, I've seen patients gain confidence simply by changing how they prepare what they already love. You don't need new food. You need a new rhythm. Healing line. This isn't restriction, it's wisdom. Now, once you've started shifting how you cook your carbs, the next question becomes, can you actually change how your body responds while you eat? What if the answer wasn't in removing foods, but in adding something back? Something simple, ancient, and already sitting in your kitchen. The truth is, a tiny splash of acid can do more for your blood sugar than most people realize. Let me show you how vinegar and lemon can turn your next meal into medicine. Tip number 2. Add vinegar or lemon to your meals. Most of us don't think twice about vinegar or lemon. They're small accents on the plate, a drizzle here, a garnish there. But what if I told you they could slow down how quickly your food turns into sugar? Let's start with what happens inside your mouth. You have an enzyme in your saliva called amylase, and its job is to start breaking down starch into sugar the moment you begin chewing. But when you drink a little lemon juice or vinegar before a meal, that acid actually slows down the enzyme. Think of it like dimming the lights at a concert. Everything softens. The breakdown of starch takes longer, and the sugar trickles into your bloodstream more gently. But that's not all. Acids like vinegar also slow the emptying of your stomach. That means you feel full longer, you're less likely to snack, and your blood sugar climbs more gradually. It's not just digestion. It's pacing. Researchers show that vinegar, especially apple cider vinegar, not only reduces the glycemic response, but can also improve insulin sensitivity in muscles. That means your body becomes better at handling sugar overall, not just at that one meal. For older adults, this is incredibly important. As we age, our muscle mass declines, and our cells become more resistant to insulin. Adding a small amount of acid, a tablespoon of vinegar or lemon juice in water, is like sending your cells a gentle signal to open up and absorb the sugar calmly. So here's the plot twist. Wine is also acidic, but it behaves unpredictably in the liver. While it can lower blood sugar temporarily, it can also worsen fatty liver, especially in people with diabetes. That's why vinegar ranks far higher than wine as a reliable blood sugar ally. Let me share Rosa's story. She's 74 years old and had been battling post-meal fatigue for years. Every afternoon after lunch, she would feel foggy, tired, and irritable. We didn't change her whole diet. I simply asked her to drink a glass of water with a tablespoon of lemon juice 20 minutes before lunch. That one habit, she told me, gave her afternoons back. Her mood stabilized, her energy returned, and she started craving fewer sweets at night. My personal opinion? In all my years working with older adults, vinegar is one of the most humble but powerful tools I've seen. It's not a miracle. It's a quiet helper. And it costs less than a cup of coffee. I often say, don't overlook what your grandmother's kitchen already knew. Now, even with all the vinegar and cooling tricks, there's still one moment that matters more than anything. The moment you actually sit down to eat. What's on your plate is important. Yes. But what those foods are paired with is what determines how your body will respond. You see, eating carbs by themselves is like lighting a fire with dry paper. But when you surround those carbs with fat, protein, or fiber, it's like putting a soft blanket around the flame. Let me show you how food pairing can change everything. Tip number 3. Never eat carbs naked. Combine with fat, protein, or fiber. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a piece of plain white toast or a bowl of plain rice, and then, an hour later, felt lightheaded or hungry again? That's not a lack of willpower. That's what happens when you eat carbs naked. No fiber, no protein, no fat to slow them down. They rush into your bloodstream like a wave, and your body scrambles to keep up. But here's the good news. You don't need to cut the carbs, you just need to give them company. When you pair carbohydrates with a source of fat, like olive oil, butter, or avocado, or with protein from eggs, fish, or chicken, or fiber from leafy greens, it changes everything. These nutrients slow down digestion, reduce the spike in blood sugar, and help you stay full longer. Think of carbs like a child running too fast. Fat, protein, and fiber are the gentle hands that hold them steady. Researchers show that meals with balanced macronutrients produce significantly lower post-meal glucose spikes compared to high-carb meals alone, even when the total calories are the same. Why does this matter so much as we age? Because after 60, the body's insulin response slows down. We become more vulnerable to sharp rises and crashes. These sudden shifts can leave you feeling shaky, irritable, or exhausted, even if the meal seemed healthy. Let me give you an example. George, 77 years old, used to eat oatmeal every morning with a banana. His sugar would spike, then crash. We didn't remove the oatmeal. We added Greek yogurt, chia seeds, and a few crushed walnuts. Within days, George said, "I don't get that shaky feeling anymore. I feel grounded." My personal opinion? This is my favorite tip, because it doesn't ask you to give up the foods you love. It just asks you to love them more wisely, to dress them, to pair them. You don't have to punish your appetite, you just have to understand it. Now let's take it one step deeper. You already know what's on your plate matters, and that pairing your carbs with other nutrients can make a big difference. But what if I told you that even the order in which you eat your food can affect your blood sugar? Same meal, same ingredients, but a different sequence, and your body responds in a gentler, slower way. It's not about restriction, it's about timing. Let me show you the power of eating in the right order. Tip number 4, eat vegetables first, then protein, then carbs. What if one of the simplest ways to lower your blood sugar didn't involve changing what you eat, but when you eat each part of your meal? It sounds almost too simple, but science confirms it. The order in which you eat your food can have a big effect on how much your blood sugar rises after a meal. Here's how it works. When you start your meal by eating vegetables first, especially leafy greens, broccoli, cucumbers, or fiber-rich veggies, they create a natural shield inside your gut. These fibers slow down the absorption of sugar from the carbs you eat later. Then, when you move on to protein and fats, your digestion slows even more. So by the time you finally eat the carbs, like rice or potatoes, your blood sugar rises gently instead of spiking. Researchers show that eating vegetables first, followed by protein, and saving carbs for last, can lower post-meal blood sugar by up to 30 to 40%, even when the meal stays exactly the same. Why is this so important for seniors? Because as we get older, our digestion changes, and our ability to buffer sugar spikes becomes weaker. But this technique gives you back some control. No pills, no extreme diets, just a peaceful order. Mary, 79 years old, used to feel dizzy after dinner. She loved pasta and meatballs. We didn't take it away. I asked her to start with a small salad first, then eat the meat, and leave the pasta for last. Within a week, she called me and said, "I didn't know eating in a different order could make me feel so steady." My personal opinion? I think this tip is the most empowering of all. It requires zero money, zero preparation, and works for almost everyone I've ever taught it to. It gives you power without punishment. It's not aging, it's adapting. So far, we've focused on what happens before and during the meal, how you prepare your carbs, how you combine them, and the order you eat them in. But there's still one more window of opportunity, and it happens right after you eat. This is the moment your body decides what to do with the sugar that's now entering your bloodstream. And believe it or not, your next move, even something as small as a walk around the house, can shift the entire outcome. Let me show you how movement becomes medicine. Tip number 5. Move your body within 30 minutes after eating. You might think the most important part of a meal ends when you put down your fork. But for your blood sugar, the most crucial moment begins after the last bite. Here's what happens. Once you finish eating, glucose starts flowing into your bloodstream, and your body has a choice: store it, burn it, or let it linger. If you sit still, that sugar tends to stay in your blood longer, especially in older adults. But if you get up and move, even just a little, your muscles start pulling glucose out of your blood without needing insulin. That's right. Active muscles act like sponges. They absorb sugar and use it for energy, gently lowering your blood sugar with every step. Researchers show that walking for just 10 to 20 minutes after a meal can significantly reduce blood sugar spikes, sometimes more effectively than medication. Why does this matter after 60? Because with age, your insulin becomes less effective and your pancreas has fewer beta cells to help. Movement gives your body a second route, a natural shortcut to balance. And the best part? It doesn't have to be exercise in the traditional sense. You don't need a gym, you don't need fancy shoes. You just need movement, dancing, walking, gardening, climbing stairs, even swaying to music. The key is to engage your larger muscles, your legs, hips, and trunk, and aim to feel just slightly breathless. That gentle rise in effort signals your muscles to act. Let me tell you about Harold again. After dinner, instead of sitting in his recliner, he and his wife began dancing to old jazz records in their living room. 10 minutes a night. That was it. 2 weeks later, his glucose readings after dinner were lower, and he said he started sleeping better too. That little movement gave his body a rhythm it had been missing. My personal opinion? I always tell my patients, movement after meals is more powerful than most pills. It is the body's natural way of cleaning up after itself. It doesn't just change your sugar, it changes your spirit. You can think of it this way. Every step is a message of healing to your blood. Now let's talk about the quiet moments between meals. The snacks, the cravings, the little bites we reach for when no one's watching. For many older adults, this is where blood sugar swings the most. Not from big meals, but from small habits. But here's the surprising truth. Not all snacks affect you the same, even if they have the same calories. And with one small shift, you can turn your snacks from sabotage into support. Let me show you how. Tip number 6. Snack smart. Choose starch over sugar. Add vinegar. Snacking seems harmless. Just a cookie here, a sweet bite there. But these small choices can create some of the biggest sugar spikes, especially as we age. And here's the catch. It's not just what you eat, it's how your body handles it. Most people think sugar is sugar. But your body reacts very differently to starch than it does to simple sugar. Vinegar, which we discussed earlier, can help slow down the breakdown of starch, but it has no effect on pure sugar. So if you eat a candy bar or a sweet dessert, even with vinegar, your blood sugar will still spike fast and hard. On the other hand, when you eat something starchy, like a cracker or a piece of toast, and you combine it with vinegar, either in a drink, a salad, or even with pickles, the spike can be much slower and more manageable. That's why savory snacks are safer than sweet ones. Cheese, nuts, vegetables with dip, olives, pickles. They offer fat, fiber, and often protein, all of which help slow sugar absorption. Researchers show that vinegar taken within 30 minutes of a starchy snack can reduce the glycemic response by up to 30%, while the same does nothing for sugary snacks. For seniors, this matters deeply. Our cravings may increase as we age, but our blood sugar control weakens. And those small, frequent crashes can lead to fatigue, mood swings, and even memory lapses. Rosa, the woman I mentioned earlier, used to reach for cookies every afternoon. We made one change. She swapped them for almonds and a few pickled veggies. She said, "I didn't just stop craving sugar. I stopped needing it." My personal opinion, I think this tip surprises people the most because it's not about willpower, it's about strategy. When you give your body the right signals, your hunger becomes softer, your energy steadier. Snacks don't have to hurt you, they can actually help. Let your snack serve you, not steal from you. You've spent years being told what not to eat. Bread, rice, potatoes. Foods that once brought comfort are now surrounded by fear. But today, I hope you've seen a gentler path. You do not have to give them up. You just have to meet them differently. From cooling your rice, to adding vinegar, to moving after meals. These are not punishments. They are quiet acts of care. Small rituals that honor the way your body changes with time. You still have power. You still have rhythm. You still deserve joy in every bite. If this video spoke to you, leave a comment and write, Number 1. That way I know you're walking this path with me. And if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe for more healing truths and positive energy, because aging should never mean silence, shame, or surrender. See you in the next video.